Alrighty, this is for the nephews who were so kind to share their airsoft weapons with us last time and completely outgun us. So what I've done is I've gone out and I've made a fully automatic airsoft weapon, and a little bit later on I'll show you guys how I did it. But we've got a little rule here that says, hey, if you make something like this, or if you're in an airsoft fight, you have to be willing to be shot by the weapon you're using. And so that's what we're going to do. Jesse's going to shoot me with, you know, just that, and then we're going to see which one makes a bigger welt, his or my fully automatic airsoft weapon, which I think pumps out, as best I can tell, between 600 and 1,000 BBs a minute. So you gotta hit me without that. Okay, nice, perfect, buddy. Alrighty, you can see that that's the welt from the BB gun, and that's actually 2 welts and then another one there. So you can kind of see they're pretty relatively equal, and they felt about the same, because I had actually put a restrictor on it, because otherwise it shot straight through a cardboard box. So I had to put a restrictor on it to make it go a little bit slower.
I thought it went through foam and then into the drywall.
Yeah, it did that too. But anyway, that's all. And then I'll show you guys in a minute. I'll show you how I made it, just in case you're curious. All right, so now starts the how-to version or portion of the video. First, what you need to do is you need to get yourself I'm just going to go over the basics. There are a million different variables you can throw in here, so I'm going to tell you the basics of how it's done, not go into super detail, and you guys can figure the rest out. But first, you need to get yourself a good fire extinguisher. This one is a 9-pound or a 10-pound one. It would actually be better to be larger, but it kind of gets a little bit unwieldy if it's too large. It only takes a couple seconds to completely empty out that fire extinguisher, so the bigger the better. It might even be nice to have one that you kept on your back or something like that. But this is a 9-pound fire extinguisher. Give it to your kids. Let them go out there and practice putting out a fire by emptying it out. So once it's empty, first thing you need to do is replace the gauge with a tire valve. And so you'll notice here what you do is, this was originally over here. You just manually have to pull this sucker off, okay? And then what's left is this piece here sticking in there, and you put yourself a socket over there. It's glued in there really, really well. So you put yourself a socket on there, 7/16 inch, and it's really hard to pop off, but you can pop it off. Then once that's out, what I did was I took some snap-in, here, let me get a shot of it. These snap-in tubeless tire valves, and they're 1 1/4 inch long, and I just cut it down. I don't know if you can see this, but it's probably only, of the black part, probably only about 1/2 inch showing and maybe a 1/2 inch in there. So basically I cut off maybe just so there was 1 inch of the black stuff of the rubber around it, and I screwed the rubber into the slot there, into the opening. And it was hard to get it in there, but it was hard enough so it's not going to come out. And I didn't need to thread anything, so it actually worked out really well. So I cut it off till it was about 1 inch of the black stuff and screwed it in there, and I put some silicone around it before I screwed it in there just to make double sure. So that's actually how you fill it. This is rated up to 200 PSI. That's actually what it's normally filled at. I believe they actually tested up to like 500 PSI. So my air compressor cuts in at 90 and out at 120, so it's not even trying hard. Like even if I fill it with 120 psi, it's not even working hard to hold that. So that's what you need to do. You need to empty out the fire extinguisher, put one of these on, okay? Then what I did here is I cut off the hose so that just a little bit of the hose was showing, and so then I made my chamber here. Now, what the chamber is 2-inch PVC, and this is just a very simple cap here. And down here is a piece, and it's necked down because here you can actually untwist this, and that's how you fill the BBs. And you fill it at least half full, okay? So that's your chamber. And you can see videos where people have made this similar weapon on YouTube and everything, but they make it with like soda bottles and stuff like that. But I used PVC, And so you can unscrew this. That's how you fill it in. And then my barrel, that's actually kind of cool. The barrel is, it's simple. I went to a hardware store and it's 1/2 inch pipe. Okay. Now that's too big for the BB. So what I did was, see this? This is 3/8 inch. Here it is, 3/8 inch PX. I don't know what they call it, but this is 3/8 inch outer diameter, and it fits an Airsoft BB perfectly on the inside. But since it's 3/8 inch outer diameter, it fits perfectly within this this barrel, this 1/2 inch barrel, because the barrel's 1/2 inch outside, 3/8 inside. Well, this is 3/8 inch outer diameter. It just slides down there with some effort, so it's not going to pop out, but it slides down there with some effort. And I made it so that the end of the barrel comes down to about here, and I actually helped secure it. I kind of strapped it in there with you can see this little nut right here that kind of helped strap it in there, and all I did was up here I drilled a hole that was a 1/2 inch, actually a little bit bigger 1/2 inch, sealed it with some pipe thread. So this holds it in place up here, this holds it in place down here. The way it works is your air comes from here. When you squeeze this, and it's got some pressure in there now, so I'm not going to squeeze it, but you squeeze it and the air actually comes out through here. And if I've got a restrictor in here that I'll explain in just 1 minute. I've got a restrictor in here so that it slows the air down. Otherwise, it's entirely too powerful. I mean, well, it's nice if you want to, like, I don't know, hunt squirrels or something like that, but it's for shooting into each other, which is what our intended purpose is. It was too powerful. So I made a restrictor so that it kind of slows it down. And all I did to make the restrictor was this. I took a wire nut, a cheap wire nut, okay, and I cut it a little bit shorter so it would fit within this piece here, and I drilled it with my smallest drill bit, which I think is like a 1/32. I'd have to look at it, but it's actually quite a tiny hole, and I stuck that in there so that restricts the airflow. Now, I told you that this is the hose that was from the fire extinguisher. Well, this is actually the other half of that snap-in tire valve, okay? So I just basically drilled a 5/8 inch hole in here and pretended like it was a wheel, and I snapped it in there. So I've got rubber meeting rubber, and the only thing that's actually holding it together are these tire clamps. I mean, or these big hose clamps, which you can get anywhere. You know, you use them for like strapping on the hose of dryer vents and things like that. So that's all it is. Air pressure source, valve, trigger. Then you have it comes through here. I've got a restrictor here, and then it's half full of BBs. I mean, it's normally actually held like this, and so it's half full of BBs. And what happens is the air comes through here and it bounces the BBs around, and they actually get inside as the air is flowing out the barrel. That gets inside the barrel and shoots them on out. So I estimate between 600 and 1,000 per minute. It could be higher. This is just a little laser that I added to it, a little laser sight, just for fun. It doesn't work very well during the daytime, but at nighttime, hey, it's perfect, and you can see it there flashing. And I just attached it to the barrel, kind of made it a little bit more fun, and that's it. So hopefully, you know, you guys have fun making it. If you want to go ahead and do it, just watch out for these, maybe tape these up. You know, I just finished, that's why my workshop is such a wreck. I just finished this, but I've actually cut myself very badly. Don't know if you can see that scar on my thumb. That's 13 stitches that I got from the edges of one of these band clamps at one point in time. Just beware, these things can really cut you if you're not careful. So it might be good to put some like fuel line or something over top of these, or tape that actually to actually make it a little bit more safe. Another thing, a little trick I wanted to share with you guys is to keep this more quiet in here. I took this felt and I sprayed on, or you can use glue of any sort, but I sprayed on glue and I lined all the inside of this with this felt, so that when you're running around, instead of hearing this, when you're running around, all you hear is this. Okay? see, it's much more quiet. And also when you're firing it, it's much more quiet as well, because I don't want my nephews to hear me when I'm sneaking up behind them and then I unload on them. And anyway, that's about it. Hope you enjoy it.